Hi everybody, um, welcome to Mr. Diggs Deals. It's been a while, it's been nearly 11 months, but this is not going to be about what I've picked up or what I've sold or where I've been in charity shops and stuff like that. I disappeared for quite a while, quite a long time last year, and today I want to talk about my mental health, my reselling and me. Because I'm 49 years old, and for a very long time, mainly the best part of last year, I suffered and continue to suffer, but I'm under control now with mental health. I'm going to talk to you about how it affected my reselling, how it affected my personal life, and where I'm at now. And this was not an easy video to make because this is about the third, fourth one I've tried to do, and it's been quite difficult. But in order for me to carry on with this channel, carry on with my reselling and explain where I've been all this time, there is a backstory to it all. And I need to sort of get it off my chest, because if I can help anybody with what I'm about to say, what I'm about to reveal, then all the better. But as I say, most of you know me from Mr. Diggs Deals. But as I say, I'm a 49-year-old male who suffered and suffers and has suffered with mental health issues. And I guess the best place for me to start is with from when it all first started back in March time of last year. Now, I disappeared from social media and reselling groups for the best part of last year, unaware and aware of certain issues going on with my personal mental health. Now, as I say, my issues started around about March time of last year. I was flying high with eBay, doing really well. Parcels and stuff like that, and sales were through the roof, and I'd made top-rated seller. And like I say, the end of March come, and June and July is when my troubles with eBay, mental health, all started. And as I say, eBay was doing really well. I'd just become top-rated seller, and I couldn't put a foot wrong, and I was over the moon about the way it was all going. But then, as I say, June and July time, virtually everything that I'd just about sold, I was getting coming back for one shape or form. And one way or another, things were getting lost in the post, and I turned to eBay for support and help. And I must have reached out about 15 times for parcels not being being lost, or the support to say, look, this has happened, and not once did eBay help me in any way, shape or form. I'm not going to make that an excuse, but it contributed to my mental health issues. And the amount of refunds that I was having to issue, and having to deal with eBay and reselling and all the negative parts of reselling, really got to me really bad. And I just generally thought to myself that I love eBay, I love reselling, I love going out hunting for stock and looking for the next bolo, so to speak. But suddenly something that I loved weren't loving me back, and I couldn't understand why. And my mindset was, maybe if I was to sell other things that other people did, or did things in a way that other people did, then I would get somewhere. Then, but as we all know in this game, what works for one person does not necessarily work for you. And I quickly found that I made things worse for myself. So with eBay going wrong, and I was only selling on eBay to a certain point, to a certain degree, I'd had enough. I thought it was time to take my ball and generally go home and not come out to play with it again. The most easiest thing would have been was to me at the time, give up. But I always felt in the back of my head that there was something more to it, something that I was missing, something that I wasn't quite aware of. And I tried to sweep it under the carpet, so I thought to myself, well, okay. And in fact, I did leave reselling for about 5-6 weeks, which in this game isn't long, to be honest with you. But I thought, well, if I take a step back, leave it, and don't go back to it, it ain't missing me, so I won't miss it. So I shut my shop, withdrew all my items, shut my shop, cancelled my shop subscription, and walked away. And I still had a room full of stock that I didn't know what to do with, or wasn't sure what I was going to do with at the time. But I was happy that I didn't have the hassle of dealing with returns or anything, all the negative stuff you could possibly think of with eBay. I wasn't missing it. And I knew it wouldn't miss me. But I was still teasing myself. I still went into the odd charity shop, and believe me, I came across things that still could have made me some decent amount of money. Clothing, toys and stuff like that. And I wasn't in my right mind. I could have still bought them and still stored them in the hope that probably one day I would go back to it and store them up. But I didn't. I left decent stuff behind, and basically I just wandered about and bummed around doing not very much of anything really. And as them 5 or 6 weeks went on, I still had that feeling of wanting to get out there, looking for the next bolo, looking for the next decent bit of clothing, and I was missing it. And I felt like an arm or a leg had been chopped off, and I wanted to use it, but I couldn't because I hadn't got it. But, and I still was there wanting to be part of it. I didn't go in the reselling groups, and I missed the reselling groups on Facebook. But then I thought to myself, do you know what? I need the distraction, because I was still feeling rubbish in myself. And I thought, well, I've had a break from it, so I returned to it. And unfortunately for me, the situation with the returns and various other negative aspects, I quickly dropped from a top-rated seller down to above standard, and things still didn't go right. And I fought really, really hard to try and get myself back where I wanted to be. And then, unfortunately, I dropped below standard. And that again sort of got me thinking, was I right to come back? And to be quite honest with you, I'm lucky to still have an eBay account, because I spent right up till, I think, February of, on possibly end of March of this year, middle of March I should say, still below standard. I am really surprised that I was conscious that eBay could quite easily take my account away from me and ban me permanently. But I stuck with it. I tried to make a difference, tried to pick up things that I wouldn't normally pick up, and real plug away at it and think, this ain't going to beat me. I ain't going to give up with this. And I think it was last month that I'd finally got evaluated again. You get evaluated on eBay around about the 20th of every month, and they sort of either downgrade you or upgrade you, if you know what I mean. So last month, I finally made it out of below standard, back up to above standard, and I've looked on my eBay algorithms and all that sort of stuff now, and when they evaluate me again this month on the 20th, it says that if they evaluated me today, they could make me back up to top rated seller. And I thought, you know what? I've sweat, I've cried tears, and all but bled blood to try and get back, because the sales have come, listing has been better and more frequent, found more better things to pick up in charity shops and stuff like that, and I decided that eBay was not the be all and end all of reselling. So I looked into other platforms as well. So I looked into Depop, I looked into Vinted, which now I've got a physical presence on Depop, and I've got a physical presence on Vinted, with my own personal stuff, of course, and stuff that people have given me through friends and family that I don't have to pay money for, and I just put them on, and I've had an incredible ride on Vinted, and I'm doing really well on Vinted, to be quite honest with you. And I've never looked back. And it taught me a valuable lesson not to have all my eggs in one basket with eBay, because I don't trust eBay to a certain degree. For everything they do right, they get one or two things wrong as well. So based on that, like I said, I wanted to branch out to other platforms. I looked into Poshmark as well. I looked into other platforms. And for now, eBay, Vinted and Depop are my main ones, and I could be doing a little bit better with Depop, but I guess that takes a little bit of time. And eBay, well, I'm getting there with eBay. I've just got to maintain my standards now, maintain my customer service and stuff like that. So, and even though I was happy with everything, the way that all my selling platforms were going off, my brain was telling me that there was still something wrong. My moods were still erratic. I still hated change. I still didn't like things didn't go my own way. So I had to look to my personal life. Was I happy in my personal life? And the answer was no. Because I've always been one for routine. I've always liked to know what I'm doing, when I'm doing it, how I'm doing it, and how long it's going to take me. And at that point, I thought that was just me, routine. And again, I couldn't help feel that there was something more to this. So as the year went on, end of last year, middle of last year to end of last year, my mood was really dark. I became very depressed. I came a very high level of anxiety. The simplest of things, like a phone call I had to make, would lead to a full-blown brown bag panic attack. And that wasn't me. I also went away a couple of times with my wife and in-laws, and that was horrible, because there were certain aspects of that set me on a roller coaster of emotions. Like public transport was cancelled, there were strikes and stuff like that, and for some bizarre reason at that point my brain just didn't focus, didn't sort of process that there could be a way around it, or you know what I mean. And I just generally felt that I was on a very long dark path, a long dark road to something to a place where I didn't want to be, but knew that if I took myself there, in all honesty, my Christmas, last Christmas, I thought about making my last. I talked about divorce from my wife. We had major fallings out over my attitude because I was prone to verbal outbursts towards her and mood swings. I cut myself off from friends. I didn't make any YouTube videos. Like I say, this is the first time I've done YouTube video for 11 months. And I got myself in such an emotional state because I was, okay, people used to talk to me in such a way that I used to go, yeah, okay, whatever. But it got me to a point where I was in floods of tears. And again, that wasn't me. And I tried do the typical man thing and sweep it under the carpet and forget about it and stuff like that. And my wife said to me one day that you should go and see somebody. And I scoffed at her and I said, nobody. And my exact words were to her and told her, really shouted at, I'm 48 years old. Nobody tells me what to do, how to do it, and when to do it. Back off and leave me alone. And they were my exact words to her. And I really shouted at her with that. And something that I deeply regret doing. But as I say, I got to a point in October and it makes me cringe and upsets me to think about the fact that I wanted to make that last Christmas, my last one, because my head was that overwhelmed and that busy. When I first got up in the morning, it felt like I had a big group of people in my head, all talking at the same time, saying, oh, you've got to do this, you've got to do that, you've got to do it like this, you've got to do it like that, you've got to go there, make sure you do this and make sure you do that. And my head was so crammed and my sleep pattern was horrible and my attitude towards my friends and my wife and myself was really going down at an incredible rate. And each day that came, by the end of October into November, I thought to myself, do you know what? The only way I'm ever going to do this, have peace, is if I end it all. And I thought about it and I was only thinking about me, nobody else. And in my eyes and in my opinion, that made me a coward and that made me selfish. Because obviously you get to a mindset and you take your own life and you don't always think about the people you leave behind, the fallout, who you leave behind, the chain reaction it could possibly start. But at that point, it didn't matter to me. I just wanted to end it. I just wanted peace and quiet. And I already knew at that point how I was going to do it because I was on I'm a diabetic as well and I take loads of medication for bits and pieces. I was going to take the tablets all in one go and that's it. I was going to wait for my wife to go out. And take the tablets. And for her to come back and find me like that, she wouldn't have deserved that. So, reluctantly, I had to go and get the doctors off my back because they were on my back as well about my medication, about my appointments for diabetes and what have you. And I thought to myself, well, is there enough about me to sit down with a complete stranger and talk to them about the way I feel? And to be quite honest with you, it was a split moment decision after I talked about my medication and get myself back on track with my diabetes and stuff like that, that I got up and I was about to leave and I turned around and said to the doctor, I need to talk to you about something else. So there was no going back then, I felt. So reluctantly, I sat down, told him how I was feeling, what I'd been through. We talked about several possibilities: ADHD, autism, depression, and I've had to talk to him about how I feared change and this, that, and the other. And he then asked me if I, felt like harming myself or I was in that mindset. I hesitated and looked at him and said, "Yeah." So I told him, and with all the information he'd got, he says, "I'm almost pretty 100% sure, 99% sure that you're suffering with fear of change syndrome." Now, I didn't know there was a thing like that. Go check it out on Google or something about fear of change. What I had got and what I have and what I've been going through was sort of a chemical imbalance in my head where rational thought and process thinking all went out the window because there was a chemical imbalance in my head that weren't sending the proper, chemicals to my brain and stuff like that. So we talked about several possibilities of outcomes like therapy, uh, counselling, and tablets. And he wanted, to begin with, to set me on the course of everything that could possibly help me. But he also didn't want to overwhelm me with things as well. So I said, "Well, look, set me on this course of tablets and we'll see how we go." So reluctantly, again as a bloke, I don't need tablets. I can deal with this by myself. But I was wrong. And anybody thinks like that is wrong as well. Trust me on that. So I started taking these tablets and literally just over a week, I woke up one morning and my head was clear. My way of thinking was different. My mood had been lifted and I actually felt happy. Don't know why I felt happy, but I felt happy. And I was doing things that I wouldn't normally do. So things that I'd avoid doing, I ended up doing, embracing. And one of the best things I've ever done is to make that choice to do something about it, to acknowledge I had a problem, that I'd got a problem. And without these tablets and the support I've had from my wife and my friends, would continue to have a problem. But as I said, I thought there was enough about me still left to reach out and sort it out and get myself back on track. Even though I was reluctant, I am so glad I did. And trust me, if there's anybody that watches this that thinks that there's no help out there, that there's no support or anything like that, then you are wrong. Please talk to somebody closest to you. Talk to somebody, a professional, anybody in the medical professional that's there, willing to help you, will help you. And I am so glad that I did, that I reached out when I did. It wasn't an easy journey by any means, but I am so glad I did. Because if I didn't, as I say, I wouldn't be here. I really wouldn't be here, guys, now. To where I am at now, as I say, been on the medication for a couple of months now, probably a little bit longer. And I don't want to do myself in anymore, to be very blunt about it. I don't want to commit suicide. I like life. My reselling is back on track. I've got so many things in my life that I'm grateful and thankful for. I've got a very understanding and caring wife. And I am genuinely sorry to her for what I put through. And my circle of friends are willing to help me, because that was another thing that surprised me, because I opened up to my friends And it's surprising the amount of people that you know around you that you don't think looking at them is anything wrong. But just like me, just because there's something wrong and you can't see it, doesn't mean to say it's not there. And I'm also, on Monday, on the 8th of this month, my reselling has been that good. And from what I've been through the past 11 months, I'm actually going away with my wife and a friend to spend 10 days in Benidorm. So I'm looking forward to that very much. But if I can give anybody any help, any advice, leave me a message on here telling me what you're going through, and I will message you back. Find me on Facebook, Adrian Wildig, or any of the reselling groups, because I know in the reselling community there's a strong reselling community out there. There are several groups that can help you, i.e. one of them being Money Mental UK, dedicated to reselling and mental health. Andrew Nolan, go check him out. One of the best advocates for mental health out there, because he's been through a lot himself, and there's such a wide variety of people that understand. And as I say, every decision I make now, and every decision the decision I made to put myself right began with a single step, and I'm glad I did. It's that willingness to try that's the most important. That willingness to admit to yourself and other people that, yeah, it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to want to scream and shout and rant and rave and cry and stuff like that. It's okay just to say, hang on, I've got a problem and I need help. Because as I say, there is plenty of help out there. You've just got to reach out, grab it, and run with it. Remember, never give up. Always try. And if you do at all feel like following me on my, I'll say new journey, my new path, please hit that like button, subscribe, because I'll be talking about mental health and reselling again, and I'll be uploading more reselling videos. I'm also on TikTok as well, which I'll be using for reselling content and talking about mental health as well. So look out for Mr. Diggs Deals. Look out for me on TikTok under the same name, or Adrian Wildig on TikTok. And remember, guys, you're not alone. Even though in your darkest times and you think there's nobody there to guide you, trust me, please reach out, because you will surprise yourself and it will be the best thing you ever did. And I can promise you, as soon as I come back off my holiday, I'll be uploading more content, reselling videos, soul videos, mental health videos, and stuff like that. So thank you for your watch. Thank you for watching very much. Thank you for understanding. Thank you for your time. Happy reselling, good mental health, and I will see you very soon.